You're listening to a conversation between Andre Bouchet and Dan Cronin, music lovers and music halvers, and Tamara Federici, producer of Every Band Ever, already in progress.
First of all, congratulations, I guess. I mean, I saw the feature in Rolling Stone on you, and I just now realizing how little I knew about you. I mean, I've met you at parties and things like that here in LA, and wow, we could use more humble people in LA like you, because you barely dropped any names. And
I mean, we've talked a lot of parties, and I was a little hurt that you've never brought up any of this. I mean, it seems like you've
our heroes.
held on to all of these anecdotes. I would have liked to have heard some of this, but
and
now I'm glad.
Yeah. And looking at your discography, I mean, you must be approaching, I don't know, 81 years old. Now, this isn't a video podcast, but I will say from where I'm sitting, you look incredible.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not asking your age.
No, it's okay.
I'm guessing you're about 81, 80, 81. I don't know.
I'm in the 40s.
No, that doesn't make any sense at all based on your resume.
Yeah,
but
that's
okay.
Yeah,
we'll accept that as an answer, even though it mathematically makes zero sense based on the albums we'll be talking about.
Maybe she's a time traveler too. Who knows?
You could be a time traveler. Are you a time traveler?
I can't answer that specifically, but I do want to say I feel like you're a little tied to time and space.
Okay. I appreciate that. Rock and roll does transcend all time and space and logic, and you've been there in the stew, in the soup.
Yeah.
But it's confounding. I mean,
is it?
Well, it is. One of the albums that I know I've mentioned to you before, but I love listening to Exile on Main Street. Rolling Stones.
Right.
And you're there, and Exile, of course, referring to the Stones being tax exiles from England. So they rent this mansion, which they called, what was it called? Nelcote or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're in this mansion, and they're playing, I think Bill Wyman said, from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. every night, and they're pretending they're black men from Mississippi, basically.
Right.
But putting out this classic album in 1972, when 3 months earlier, you're finishing up Flute Rock with Jethro Tull. I just, like, the logistics of it all blow my mind. And I'd love to hear the stories of, like, when your schedule was craziest, or like some of these memories of you jetting all over the world. How did you put it all together? Did you have an incredible assistant? Did you have a private jet? Or
no. No.
Oh, you didn't? No assistant?
No, I didn't. I just, honestly, I kind of just don't even know I'm doing it. It's a side hustle for me, honestly. Like, I mean, you guys know me as a writer, and that's what I've been working on a screenplay for,
the last 50 years, the last 50, 60 years.
Well, the last 15 years.
Tamara, turn in a draft, Tamara. You can't get too married to this stuff.
Well, also, it would seem like some of this stuff would make great fodder for a screenplay or for.
That's right.
I just never thought about it. I got really focused on this one idea, and then I really kind of, I spend my 9 to 5s doing that, and then I kind of just do this at night.
Are you still working on the one about the cat detective?
Yeah, that one's working out. I put some myrrh people in it, and that made it a little confusing and a little unrealistic. But every day I'm back there, figuring out the backstory and trying to see how a cat and a myrrh person would work. I think if I finished this screenplay and sold it, I would probably stop doing the band thing altogether. I mean, it's sort of it's kind of
you're doing the band stuff to make ends meet. Yeah,
kind of. I just like it. Work. Yeah, people just solicit me mostly, and I just sort of enjoy it. And I didn't really even notice I got to work with so many people. I just realized.
Do you notice something, Andre?
What?
She's being incredibly humble.
Yeah,
you're downplaying. You're downplaying the music thing, like, oh, that's just something I do on the side. You're one of the most credited producers in music, apparently.
Oh, actually,
you've worked with. I don't know of a band that you haven't worked with. Can we just?
Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Go ahead, Andre. I was just going to throw up a
naive question.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So, in the most simple terms, what does the producer of an album do for a band? Because I'm so naive. I know like who's playing the instruments and who's singing, and then I know there's an engineer who's like mixing it. What's the producer's role?
They pick restaurants.
They pick restaurants, but they really, like it changes. What I do on an album sort of changes per band. Like, so sometimes I'm picking out the wardrobe for them. Sometimes I am, in there helping them write songs. Sometimes I am shaping their sound. Sometimes I'm trying to give them a new sound. Sometimes we're trying to put together an album. Sometimes
so big picture stuff, kind of like your
big picture, small picture, sort of George Martin for the Beatles if he really had his hands in even more.
So big picture, small picture. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You ever have any medium picture?
I have some medium picture.
How many Christmas albums have you worked on?
Oh my gosh, a ton. Yeah. I did the Muppet Christmas. I've done the that was one of my.
Says 5 golden rings.
It's amazing. That took her 33 takes.
So when you're there with Paul McCartney and you're recording Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time, I don't know if that was you. Was that you?
That was me.
Are you thinking this is a bad song? People are going to hate this? Or are you thinking this is actually great or this is infectious? Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to love it. Let's see where the chips fall. What was your opinion when you were recording that? I don't remember what year that was. Probably the 80s, right?
I think. Which one is it again?
Like Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
You know what?
That's the whole song over and over and over.
Yeah, that I feel like that was where he was at right then. That's a song that's true to him because he was kind of giddy and sort of, not listening to Christmas themed stuff. It's
you sound like you're distancing yourself from that track.
No, I'm proud of it. I just, when it's so upbeat compared to like, O Tenenbaum or, all these sad ones or, the pandemic ones now, like a Phoebe Bridgers song. Those are all really, really sad.
Dirge-like.
Yeah, his is more like a kid who's wearing knickers about to like play pinochle.
Yeah.
So, but that was his vibe for that song. So,
please, sir, it's a joyful holiday. Can I have more ribbon candy?
Yeah.
That was kind of the vibe.
Right. It's kind of like that, except he's not an orphan. He's rich.
Now, do you know?
I'm a billionaire.
I'm a billionaire.
Come on, please buy a ribbon candy factory.
Happy Christmas.
Sir.
Do you know Andre is a generous friend? If anyone knows Andre Bouchet, he's a generous friend. He'll pick up the tab probably more often than he needs to. He took me to a rock concert at the Forum for a band that I am not a huge fan of, but it's.
That is me.
That's.
Sorry. Oh, boy.
I thought we were starting the Paul McCartney Christmas song. It does. I thought Paul McCartney was showing up with. In a Christmas garland. I thought Paul McCartney was going to come in with a xylophone there.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you if you mention him, you conjure him up. You crack the code with the Christmas song. Nobody ever asks about that.
Good to know. No, so anyway, I was saying that Andre took me to see Pearl Jam recently.
Oh yeah, they rock.
Now Andre can talk more about Pearl Jam than I can, but I understand they're from the Pacific Northwest, and they like plaid shirts.
Well, that was their look when they were.
That was the grunge look, yeah.
That was the grunge look. I'm sure. Speaking of picking wardrobes, I'm sure the record execs had a lot to do with picking all the plaid out back in 1991, 92. They stopped dressing that way pretty quickly when they were a huge band left to their own devices.
Yeah, were you there? Did you live in Seattle when grunge was big? Like, did you set up shop up there to help that movement take off? Like, as a reaction to the 80s pop music, we needed like a revisit to Zeppelin. Like, how did that come about?
I lived in a tent for about a month there, right? As that was, movements. I don't know that I shaped so much as the bands, but I could see that was coming. And I did order about, 50,000 yards of fabric just to start out. And we got a sweatshop going, and we went ahead.
That just made plaid shirts, you're saying?
Yeah, first of all, it was just red and black. You still see that. You still see that on dudes of a certain age. Oh, yeah. All of them. up and down the West Coast. So we had a lot of extra fabric. So we're actually still making those.
Yet another huge contribution to American culture that you're just kind of throwing away. Like, yeah, I happen to live. Amazing, Tamara. Amazing.
Just for a month.
Now, if you ever, for any reason, it doesn't sound like this would ever happen, but you needed work, could you saunter into any old recording studio in New York and LA and just pick up an instrument and just kind of sit in with whoever was there? Would you be able to do that? How many instruments can you personally play?
I can play the clavichord.
Okay.
I can play the flute. And
Okay.
I can play...
Banjo? Any banjo?
No banjo. I've got 6 months of guitar. That's what I can play.
I don't want to ask for a favor on your podcast, but if you know Tom York, which I assume you did, I don't know how many Radiohead albums you've produced, but
yeah,
all of them, right? I mean,
you know,
yeah,
all of them.
Yeah,
wow,
sure, yeah.
You know, Andre and I have been known to make kind of drum and bass patois together. Maybe we could give her a sample, Andre. I don't know if you want to start something up.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So like that, I mean, if you could cut that out and then send that to him as a stem, and we would get credit as writers on their next release
And if
single.
you could fill out the BMI paperwork or whatever is necessary.
Just fill that out, and then the
on our
checks
behalf.
they'd find their way to us because we are both members of BMI through our
Are
writing
you really?
experience on TV. Yeah, we are. So
Wow.
we've written for TV. So if you could do that, it would be great.
That is.
We're not asking for that. We're just kind of saying that would be cool. God, you must be worth so much money. I know that's a personal question. It might be tacky, but my God, you must be rich after all the bands you worked with. Sorry to bring that
How
up.
much are you worth?
I don't know. I haven't really checked my bank account. I just.
You don't look
No.
at that stuff.
I don't.
That's crazy.
I don't.
I have 2 girls going into college. If you happen to look in that and you just see, oh, there's a lot of zeros there, you know, just
And I've got
Throw
a
us-
wife that loves to shop, so throw a little
Right.
scratch my way.
oh,
My
Sarah, just God, does she love to shop?
Oof.
She's.
I'm just kidding. She likes to shop.
It got
the same
tacky.
amount of
It got tacky. But Tamara, we can't even wrap our heads around the amount of money you must have.
I can't
And-
either. I can't. You know, all I know is I can make it to all these different gigs, and you know, somehow I still can't finish the screenplay.
Do you know the way around your own house?
Yes.
I don't buy that. That has to be one of at least 48 rooms in that
She lives in a
house.
palace.
I don't. I have a I have a studio yurt in the back, and then I've got 4 rooms in the front.
Simple living,
Yeah, but that's
keeping
for
it real.
Yeah, you know, like places. There's always kind of like older, mostly dudes that want to record in a yurt for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So-
Zach Brown band. That's you.
All of
Just
them.
Good down
you know,
home country stuff.
You know-
Just purists.
The Oak Ridge Boys were a surprise, but they actually liked it. So okay.
Did you egregiously change your personal style? Like, did you buy funny hats and different outfits and to change your style to please different bands? Or were you pretty much wearing that t-shirt for the past 50, 40 years?
No, I'll change it. Like for Phoebe Bridgers, for like recording with her, I will
Wear a lace corset?
Yeah, no, I'll become a ghost.
Oh,
her whole
okay.
vibe is you know,
Skeletons, yeah.
get ghostier. So that was the only note when she was when we were recording her was just like get ghostier. God
Oh,
damn
who
it.
gave you that note? Who the hell dares to give you notes?
Oh no, I gave her the note ghostier.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did. Okay.
Yeah. I just, there's so right. So I really can't breathe so well in that thing in the ghost outfit, but I just need to see. I don't necessarily need to breathe or eat. So,
Incredible.
yeah, unless we cut a hole in, then I just wait.
What would you say is like right now on this podcast, why don't you just give away a huge secret that you've been holding on to for 50 years about a musician that we're not supposed to know? Just spill it. Just spill it right here. You can always edit it out later. But just tell us something.
Okay.
Something that you've kind of wanted to tell people, but and maybe now's the time. Just do it. Like,
okay, I do know one. Do you know U2?
yeah, you too. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I've heard of them.
that's one dude.
What?
Yeah,
You two?
Yeah.
One guy.
that's
it
only one
possible?
guy.
But what about the pictures of the band together? It's multiple people. The Edge, Bono, Larry Mullen Jr.
That's all.
How is it
actually-
one guy?
It's just Adam Clayton. He's a rare amoeba. He's a human amoeba, and he splits
So
up
is he
into 4
literally
people.
splitting himself into 4 people when he plays? live?
Yes, and then he absorbs
insane.
them at the end of the show. So it's all just Adam Clayton, and it's the weirdest thing. And I don't know why he.
Why not just be musical genius Adam Clayton? Why
I
pretend to be 4 people in a band?
I have the same question. It feels like a little showy and then also a little creepy. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't he just do that?
It totally sounds like something you're making up, but it also sounds completely believable.
It's one of those it's one of those, it's so big you can't even believe it's, yeah. But that's what I've known. It's one guy.
So you're saying there's no Larry Mullen,
No.
who I think was personally
I mean,
my more developed feminine side or gay side, whatever it is, thinks he might be the cutest one in the band. But you're now saying he's simply a subset. Yeah, he was the drummer.
You're right.
He's a subset of Adam Clayton, you're saying.
Yeah, I am. The odder part is that I think he's the one that put together the band, right? So how is that even possible if he's the 4 guys?
You answer that.
Well, that's what I know. I just know it to be true. So,
Okay.
I'm not going to argue with science. I mean, I've seen it once. It's fucked up.
All right. What would happen now? You do seem to exist outside of space, time, and science.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if we merged Rod Stewart and Tina Turner, in your opinion?
Oh my God, that would be sort of what he already is. I feel like he's just.
So you're saying Tina Turner would just be subsumed by Rod Stewart?
I'm saying Rod Stewart is like 93% ladies' legs. That's.
Okay.
I think you would just get a more powerful Tina Turner.
Oh, that would be the best case scenario.
I think you're right. I think it would go the other way. I think the energy would be. I think Tina Turner is more powerful.
I hear you.
She would just become more Tina Turner-y.
Maybe that's happening. Maybe that's currently how it's going.
Andre Bouchet is a writer and actor based in Los Angeles. Go to linktree, Bouchet for his comedy albums and more. Dan Cronin is a writer and stand-up based in Los Angeles. Listen to him as recurring character Terry Melon on the comedy podcast Valley Heat. Or at dancronin.com. Tamara Federici is gathered here today to get through this thing called life. The editor is Will Velasquez. The audio engineer is Clark Jackson. Executive producers are Carl Adams and Tamara Federici. Join Every Band Ever on Instagram. A world of never-ending happiness. You can always see the sun, day or night. Let's go.